Hello. 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 So, today is Sunday, which is a really great day to do money magic. And I thought that I would put together today some money oil. Now, you can use whatever recipe you want. As far as like combining different ingredients that are good for money magic, and abundance and prosperity. Everything that I use today, I will list down in the description for you. Firstly, you want to get a glass jar. You don't want to use plastic for this. Anytime that you are making magical oils, you want to use a glass jar. If it has a plastic lid, that's okay. I'm going to be burning, spoiler alert, I'm going to be burning candles on the lid of this. So, if that's the case, you probably don't want to use plastic. You want to use metal. And I have, for stirring, I have my Gudetama chopsticks. There's no special significance to Gudetama per se, but Gudetama makes me very happy. Alright, first thing we're going to do is ignore all the car alarms that go off in my neighborhood constantly. I'm probably going to do a sigil about that later. We're going to combine all of the dry ingredients in the jar first, and then add we'll add the oil on top. So first things first, have whole allspice. Powdered works too for any of these, but I like to use the whole spices and then grind them up with my mortar and pestle. I also want to point out that several of these spices are the ingredients of what they call the store pumpkin spice, which is usually on sale in December or January. Like, they start selling it in late September, but then by December or January, all of that stock is on sale. And I know that Allspice garlic is one of the ingredients. I think cinnamon is too, but just make sure you read the label so you'll know for your own benefit. It doesn't take a lot. It's really about the intention. And one of the great things about using a mortar and pestle is that you can put your intention into it. For oils too, you don't have to grind them up super fine. You just have to that's good. You have to break them up so that the oil can get in there. And it's okay if there's a little residue from the allspice for the next things that we put in there. The next thing is I have this fresh basil that came off of a basil plant. Basil plants are a lot of fun, and they're very easy to take care of. And again, just muddle it a little bit. You could even do that with your hands if you wanted, just so all the great oils come out. And you really, when you're making, excuse me, when you're making magical oils, you really want to feel it. You want to get a lot of that energy like into you. You can recite psalms over them, especially like I've made a bromelain oil with a friend before, and you recite lots of psalms over the. But what you want to be putting into your money oil is like prosperity and intentions like that. So if you wanted to listen to Bob Proctor while you were doing that, he has a lot of good money meditation and abundance meditation exercises. There's also some other YouTubers who focus on money spells and law of attraction, stuff like that. I'm not really going to do anything like that here, but I have been listening to some Bob Proctor meditations. So the next item we have bay leaves. Oh, that's a little bit sticky. I better put it there. So I'm going to break these up into the mortar and pestle, and then I'm also going to use the mortar on them, the pestle. And crush them up a little bit more and kind of get the basil that's left in here from that fresh basil, kind of get that mixed in as well. All right, and that way my pestle won't be all sticky from the basil. You can see, just keep putting everything in the jar. If you like glitter, or if you like food coloring, you can put green food coloring in there, you can put glitter in there. The whole idea behind money oil is that it's so rich, you make so much money. So another thing that you can do is take like a really nice piece of jewelry, because you're just like, whatever, money doesn't have meaning to me, it's just there when I need it. You can take that fancy piece of jewelry and put it in there to charge your oil. You can put it on top. The next thing we're going to be putting in there, so you've seen me work with cassia cinnamon a lot on this channel, the hard bark. This is the fancy stuff. And I purchased this in a big bundle at Vallarta, which is a Latin American themed grocery store here. Now, you can see this is lots of layers. It's a lot thinner. You can pull off a little piece like this, and actually if you chew on it, it's very sweet. So that's what you want for your money spell. You want it to be sweet. Add a little bit of that. And even some of these that don't really need as much grinding, I like to work them over with the mortar and pestle. And that way I can add my intention. And strengthen that intention. And this is a very, cinnamon is very aromatic. So you really honestly don't need a ton. But you can see, yeah, get a good whiff of that, right? I mean, I can tell the difference between how this one smells and how the cassia bark smells. I love burning cassia bark. When you burn this, it's a little too spicy, I think. And it kind of like burns your senses. but the cassia bark is good for smoke cleansing and purifying spaces. And this one is really good for sweetening up your spell work, so it's good for a spell like this, where you want a money and prosperity. It's also good for if you want to make a magnet oil or a come to me oil and get romantic partners interested in you using that oil. We'll go more into love magic, I think, probably in the Glamoury series, because I have some very strong opinions about manipulating people and how far you should go with love magic. So we'll talk about that at a different time. Alright, I'm going to go in alphabetical order, but I'm also separating our liquid ingredients. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud. So what do we have next? We have mint. Now, I'm sure if I went to the Sadaf website, it would have more information about specifically what kind of mint leaves these are, but I assume that it's the same kind of mint that they put. It doesn't really matter, because what's important, oh yeah, smell that smell. It smells like money. See? You have to put this in there because it looks and it smells like money, and that's what you want. Mint is really good for money magic. It's even right there in the name, mint. Go to the mint. Print out your money with the mint. And again, just kind of muddling all of these to kind of crush them a little bit. And then I might, when we start doing our wet ingredients, I might put them back in here and muddle them some more. It's gonna get a little bit messy, but that's good. So the next thing we have is rosemary. Rosemary is good for a lot of things. Mostly it's good for creating a positive space. So what does that involve? Purification, abundance, drawing. Bringing things to you. And this rosemary, actually, you can see my mom's handwriting on there. Sometimes I get, my parents live on the East Coast and they have, like, basically their whole yard is a garden. That's one thing I really miss about having moved out here. And so sometimes I get my mom to send me dried herbs from their garden. But rosemary does grow quite prolifically out here in California as well. And there's a big bush right outside of one of my husband's friends' houses. So sometimes if we're over in that neighborhood, I'll just grab a sprig or two. He said it belongs to the neighbors, but he hates the neighbors. I was like, great, that's the perfect place to get my rosemary, right? That's a lot of context for my rosemary. That's another thing too, if you're able to have like a good amount of context for your ingredients. It's perfectly fine to go to the store and purchase ground, pre-prepared McCormick or whatever spices. But what you really want to do is create a context for this ritual oil that you're making. You don't want it to just be like something that you kind of throw together. You can do that, but it'll be much more effective. Like I'm doing this on Sunday, right? Sunday's a good day for abundance, money magic. It's like a high holy day, regardless of, you know, what your religion is, what you believe. It's a solar day, so any kind of solar working you want to do. And then I already covered a lot of this in the planetary hours video, but I might do another video on which days of the week are really good for what kind of work. Alright, so we've got our rosemary. We also want to put some thyme in there. It's never a bad time for thyme. Thyme's really good for abundance as well. Trying to get some of this leaf litter that's fallen off in the bottom. Oh yeah, that's good. That's crunchy. All right. Yeah, good. Crushed it a little bit more, finer. Yeah. Oh man. All these herbs coming together smell so good. Here. Yeah, take a big whiff of it so far. Isn't that great? Yes, so good. Alright. The next ingredient has kind of a controversial history, but I put tobacco in my money oil. Tobacco is a very sacred plant, and it's great for spirit offerings. So if you need to appease a deceased spirit for any reason, or an elemental type spirit, it's really good for that. It's really good for bringing in good luck, good fortune, abundance, prosperity. And I mean, other spirits, it's not like a spirit's going to be displeased by tobacco. It's a great offering for spirits. But your higher up spirits might be expecting something more like cognac or champagne. You know what I mean? Or a honey cake or something. Tobacco is good for like very like elemental style spirits and deceased spirits. Because you incorporate a lot of the elements. Not really water is incorporated into tobacco, but earth, air, and fire in the burning the tobacco. And I like this particular aromatic pipe tobacco I bought it when I was in Washington, D.C. at the Georgetown Pipe and Tobacco store. And I love the way that tobacco shops smell. And I did used to roll my own cigarettes with, I would blend the cigarette tobacco and the pipe tobacco together. Oh my God. Yeah, that's coming together really nicely. All right, so we have all of our dry ingredients here, and I think all of them will fit into the mortar and pestle. Yeah. So just try to blend them together. And really think about like right now my big thing is I've gotten this crazy idea into my head that I really want to buy a house in Benedict Canyon. And I've been talking to a spirit guide about that. All right. Kind of intention that you have, this is a good time to work that in while you're grinding up your herbs, listening to your Bob Proctor, watching your ASMR Reiki video that's about abundance and prosperity and living your best life. That's what you want to do. Blend up all these herbs. Now, I'm going to add some essential oils just to give it a little extra kick. Here. Oh, it smells so good. Here. Yeah, it smells like old money. That's what you want it to smell like. Yeah, it's so good. And then I also have Peppermint Essential Oil. And peppermint's pretty easy. It doesn't have to be too fancy. And I also have some Rosemary Essential Oil. And this company, Garden of Life, is pretty good. I use one of their CBD tinctures that is blended with another herb, and it's good for like body aches. I have shoulder issues from repetitive strain, a job that I had. But, you know, whatever. Who doesn't? Welcome to America. Whatever. This is not a space for negativity. This is a space for positivity. Like PMA. So you put your PMA peppermint oil into your herbs and really a little bit of peppermint oil really goes a long way. And you really just want to feel it You want to be feeling it. Yeah, oh my god, smell that. It's really starting to smell like old money. You want it to smell like golf courses and studies with leather-bound chairs and fine cigars. And like a little whiff of horse stable in there, swimming pool. But not overwhelming, because you wouldn't be spending like enough time in the horse stables to, to really smell like them. Just like a little whiff of horse under everything. And some of this rosemary oil. And again, like these are very potent essential oils. These are not like some of your softer fragrances to really get it in there. Summers in the Hamptons, is that a thing anymore? That was like the 80s. Robin Leach, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Like a big house in Calabasas. Like the Mercedes-Benz dealership off the 101 in Calabasas. That's what you want it to smell like. And then one of the very important ingredients that you may or may not decide to use. Honey is good for money magic. Honey is good for money. It's also good for love magic. So, I try to keep nice honey in the house, but it's difficult because people want honey they can spread on their toast. So sometimes I have to be like, hey, this is my $10 jar of honey that I use for money magic and love magic. Can you please get like a $6 jar for the house? And I bought this up in, if you can read the label, Sacramento at the Co-op, which is one of my more favorite places. Alright, so you really just want to get like, take the pestle out first of all. And just mix a little bit of that in there. That is way too much. Tastes like being born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Alright. You can lick those now because I haven't used them yet. Don't just go around licking your implements because, especially if you're using tobacco and camphor and stuff. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is getting really sticky and messy. Berlin wishes they were here. You really get it. Oh, it smells so good. I know I keep saying that. Yeah, oh my god, take a big whiff of that. That's the good stuff. That is the good stuff right there. Alright, now get all of that kind of mixed together. And then you want to transfer it over to your jar again. All right. And then even just add, like, rub it all into your hands. Just get crazy with it. Yeah. I like to use as my carrier oil safflower seed oil. Now, what are the keys to getting a good carrier oil? For one, unless the underlying scent, like using olive oil for a love oil or a magnet oil, you might want to do that because it then has that undertone of olives to it. But most of the time, and especially like for a money or abundance spell where you want everything to be very clear, very cut and dry, you want to find a carrier oil that doesn't have its own underlying scent. So rice bran oil would be good. Safflower seed oil. Another key, this is for high heat, up to 445 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to find a carrier oil that has a really high smoke point. How crucial is that? Well, not too crucial, but like when you're dressing candles and stuff like that, it's better to have a higher smoke point, and it will be more stable, so your scents aren't gonna go all over the place, and it's less likely to go off. Like smell. Yeah, I've had this for a while, and you can see I've made a few jars with it, and there's still no smell. So I'm actually going to pour a little bit of this oil in here and just use the pestle to kind of clean it up a bit. And then because, you know, the honey makes it kind of sticky and stuff. So you can get all this stuff kind of incorporated into this carrier oil. And I'm still gonna, you know, I'm still gonna clean the mortar and pestle when I'm done. And just, you know, just rub it into your hands. Just really feel it. My hands are a little bit sticky. They smell amazing. I'm feeling it. And so the amount of oil that you're going to want to add is just, you know, like, make sure all your herbs are covered. I probably could have used a much smaller jar, but I like using a larger jar because you have more working room. To get everything incorporated. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Yeah, this smells amazing. Now, again, like I said, I'm not super into using like glitter and different like food coloring or anything like that, but if you wanted, you could dye this green, although like the plants themselves already make it kind of a nice green color. And you could put glitter in there if it helps you feel extra. Just anything that makes you feel like a bougie bitch. Usually I don't use swears in my videos, but in this particular case, I mean, money swears, right? Throw all your little extra bits in there. Start calling housekeepers for your 5-bedroom mansion that you're gonna buy. Put that off there. Yeah. And then, like I mentioned, one thing you can do is, I love these candles. I use gold chime candles a lot. Like I said, it's Sunday, so it's good for solar spells, but also money magic. So, you know, if I break this off, it'll fit better. Alright. Wax picking off sounds. Alright. I'm straight up gonna burn these candles on the lid of the jar. Well, how do you do that? Well, first of all, get like a little bit of the oil that's like left over in your mortar and pestle and stuff. Get like a lot of that, because you have a lot of your good intentions are still like in there. You're not desperate, but like, you know, you just want it to know. You want the universe to know what you're about, what you're doing. Taking this shit seriously. Really going off with the swears on this video. Alright. You can shorten the wick if you want. I usually don't do that. Get some good amount of beautiful golden wax. And then just let it stand there until it gets hard, and it'll hold the candle on there. Wonder if that's going to be enough wax. Yeah, it should be fine. And you can see, like, when the candles light, they're like really excited. That's a good sign. You want your candles to be like, yeah, let's do this. All right. And then yeah, look at that fire. Here we go. Yeah. All right. So then you should have your hands just like covered in this stuff. Just feel it for a minute. Vibrate on it. If you have entities that you work with and you want to ask them for help, this is a good time to pray over your oil and improve that intention. All right. And that's it. There you go. Let your candles burn down. And you know, if you need to scrape the wax off to get into the jar, you can do that. No problem. Thank you for joining me today. I feel really good about this, and I'm glad that you joined me for this spell work. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.